Hello, welcome back to Sailor Space, the Engineers and Navigators Hub. My name is Tokas Webjona and I am your host for today's session. So today we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic. We can guess. All right. So I dropped some info last week. I was asking what topic people would like us to do this week. Okay, so I got a lot of feedback regarding this particular topic. So I decided to do a video on it. Okay, so today's topic will be top interview questions for cadets, wipers, and oilers. So this more for the engineers, the engine session. So I'm gonna be telling you questions that you may be asked. I'm not saying that's what they're gonna ask you here. So the way how did I come about those questions? Through interactive session with my friends, with my seniors, with people that I know have worked in this position, and that's what they ask them. So there's a tendency that if they ask man A, man B, man C, that, so you that is man D, you will be asked that. So please draw closer, come closer, let's dive in. So I'll just be reading out this question. So I will not be giving you the answers to the question, yeah. But it depends on the feedback I get from this video. If I have a good feedback from this video, then I may actually take my time to create an answer for these questions. I'll just be reading them as I have them for you, and you do some work and do your A and B 1+1 and just blend everything together and prepare for that interview. If you just want to know, I am right here rooting for you to take that interview, to take that examination, and to get that dream job. And it's gonna come. Yeah, I'm sure of that. So for the meantime, have you subscribed to Sailor Space, the Engineers and Navigators Hub? Okay, yeah, let me give you a tip. So it's very easy to look for this channel online. You just type at Sailor Space 01, be it on Google, on Bing, on Firefox, whatever browser you're using, or even on YouTube. You can go to YouTube and just type at Sailor Space 01, and it's going to pop up. And when it pops up, you know what you're going to do? You are going to like this video. You are going to check every other video that may interest you and like them. You're going to set a notification for this channel. You're going to subscribe to this channel. And don't forget, I always say this, don't forget to share, because you never know who will be a beneficiary of this video. I will come back to tell you a very big thank you and God bless you. You never can tell who will be that person that will be saying that to you. So please and please and please, I will be counting on you to subscribe to this channel. You know, what subscription does to me is motivate you. This is not a paid video or whatever. So when you subscribe to this channel, it makes me know that what I'm doing is appreciated, and the time I put into creating this video is also appreciated. I'm counting on you to make that subscription. I'm counting on you to click on the share button, and I'm also counting on you to like this video. So without wasting your time, relax, sit back, let's dive into this question. I'll just be reading them out. No particular order of preference, no hierarchy as usual. I will just be reading them out. Okay, so let's dive in right about now. Okay, so we're gonna start with the engine cadet. One thing I wanted to imply is in as much as given questions, maybe okay, this for engine cadet, this for wiper, and this for oiler. They are all entry level into the engine room. So it may interest you to know that each question may even spill over others. So if you have the time, you may like to go through other people's, like other ranks own, because they're all junior position and they can all relate. So you may like to like check what they're asking the oilers, the wipers, the engine cadet, just mix them up together. So the first one, the first thing is, as you're going for an interview, they'll start with tell us about yourself. So I do encourage people. What I do, if you ask me to tell me about myself, I will not tell you about my village, neither will I tell that I have 20 children, or I'll tell you my life problem. It's better you streamline your audience, that's your interviewers, to what you want them to ask you. So this is like a tip. Like, you just tell them your name, the school you graduated from, experience you've had over the years, project you've managed, things you think that you want them to ask you questions for. Don't wait for them to think it. And now I say, asking, which school did you go to? You now say, oh, I went to A and B International. And then I'll say, oh, what do they teach you in A and B International? When we are done with it, I'll be like, oh, which work did you do? Oh, I was working in C&D Global. Oh, what were you doing in C&B Global? So it is easier, safer, and better for you to tell them these things first. So it's more like you setting a pace and telling them, okay, this is me. So you can choose from this to ask me questions. So that's just it. So for every role you're going for, there's always that question of tell us about yourself. And the next question that is peculiar to every role is they want you to have a knowledge of the role you are applying for. Okay, I'm applying to be C&D in a company. I have to know what C&D does in companies. It's very important. I shouldn't want to apply for a role of C&D and I don't have an idea of what a C&D does in a company. It's very bad. So you must have prior knowledge of what that role does in an establishment like that in which you're applying for. Then the third one that is not really compulsory, but some company asks is they want to know if you have an idea of what they do in their company. They believe that for the fact that you're applying for their company or to their company, you should have done your background checks. You should have an overview of what they are doing, of what they are into, and you should be able to flow along with them. Like I want to work in A and B company, and A and B companies is into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I don't even have an idea. I just wore my dress, looked good, smelled nice, and came to the interview. And I don't have an idea. Some interviewers will not sit well with that. So these are general ethics that you should know. Either thing you're applying for, be it technical role or office role, whatever role, these are the basics. You should know them. They are actually very okay. Like it will save you the stress, it will save your interviewer the stress, and it will make you come off as if you know what you're doing, as if you've done your maths already. So having done that, let's go back to where we are today. Top interview questions for cadets, wipers, and oilers. So if you have not subscribed yet to this channel, do well to click the subscription button. Like this video, share this video, and turn on the notification so you can receive any post, any video that I make. And be rest assured that every week, or not every week, but you're definitely gonna get good video, good stuff from this channel. So you wouldn't want to miss that, would you? Like, okay, so the first one is for the cadet, explain the working principle of a 2-stroke and 4-stroke engine. Differentiate between 2-stroke and 4-stroke engines. Now, we are talking of 2-stroke and 4-stroke engine. Now we've talked about working principle and differences. Just a tip: instead of it to stick around just working principle and differences, why not just study 2-stroke and 4-stroke engine as a topic and get to understand it? Today I said I'm not going to give the answers, but if I get good reviews from this video, then I could think of making answers for those questions. So I'm just going to read it out as I made a compilation of them. Okay, the next one is differentiate between low pressure and high pressure air system. The next one, what is the purpose of starting air and how is it top up? Type of pumps on board and their functions. Describe the flow of fluid in a piping system. What are auxiliary engines and how do they differ from the main engines? More like functions, what they are used for. Explain the function and types of valves on board the ship. Describe the function of a heat exchanger and name its types. You can also include the flow types. We have heat exchanger, we have types of heat exchangers, and we also have flow types in heat exchangers. So you can also add that. What are the basic machinery found in an engine room and their purposes? So this is a collection of what I got from friends when I was asking questions on what to talk about with regard to this video, because this is more like, this is not a reading topic, this is not something you read in book, and my own experience cannot be the same with everybody's own. So this is what I got, but I have a few things to add here. Okay, so in as much as the mentioned piping system, you should take note of the color codings of piping system. when you see a red band, when you see a blue band, when you see a yellow band, when you see a brown band, what does it stand for? It is very important. Then you should know the lines of fire. We're talking about the safety aspect. Know the definition of fire, the components of fire, the fire extinguishers on board, that which is peculiar to the engine room, why they are used, the classes of fire, how to prevent fire, basically the 3 ways you can prevent the fire. And if you definitely know the fire triangle, then you should know the 3 ways to prevent fire. So that's based on the safety part. And we can also, okay, we talk about heat exchanger, diesel engine, and all of that. So I know that's why I was saying that as we progress, that you see other questions that are peculiar to the wiper and oiler that they can ask you as a cadet. Like, is it for these 3 roles, wiper, oiler, engine, cadet? There are questions that circled around each other. So you can just, make a look at the other guy's own. This I think I will also make another video if I still get more reviews and I see that I've not touched something. Then you should you maybe ask about smoke and what smoke signifies in an engine. Then we're talking about the black smoke. Okay, let me paraphrase. Okay, we're talking about smoke when we're having combustion, incomplete combustion in an engine. We talk about smoke when we have water in an engine. We talk about smoke when we have excess oil. So that too is an area that you should definitely give attention to. I told you the list is not exhaustive, but these are just things that I feel you may be asked for the fact that you are applying for that particular role. So let's proceed. Still on the cadets part, I mentioned pumps. So in as much as we're talking about pumps, we should talk about motors. Because most pumps are always driven by electric motors. Sometimes the examiner or the survey can even ask you what are the difference between pumps and motors. So if you eventually have a good knowledge of the two, then you should be able to answer that. Okay, so we'll talk about compressors. What are the functions of compressors on board? What are the working principles of compressors on board? The different stages. Do we have a multi-stage? If you ask you to explain a multi-stage compressor, will you be able to do that? The function parts of a compressors on board. Why do we have intercoolers and aftercoolers incorporated into most compressors on board? The most times, definitely the multi-stage or the 2 stages compressors. So why do we have that? You should know that. Then you should know the different types of air service we have on board. We have the starting air, we have the service air. So you should know the pressure for the starting air, you should know the pressure for the service air. You should know the function and uses of starting air. That's what do they use starting air for on board, and what do they use service air on board, and all that. Okay, so we talked about auxiliaries on board. Also, something to add, you should know the difference between generators and alternators. You should have a good knowledge of purifiers on board. What are the working principles of purifier? What are the components of that makes up a purifier? Like troubleshooting of purifier. A common question is, why do we have interface in a purifier? Okay, you have another question is, what are the difference between purifiers and clarifiers? Another question is oh god, another question on still on purifier is a very common question. Yeah, what is the principle in which a purifier works on, the working principle in which a purifier is based on? So you should also check that out. Then very important, you should know about maritime regulations. Yeah, you should know about maritime regulation codes and all of those things. Be familiar with maritime abbreviations, maritime idioms. What is SOLAS? What do they do? IMO, STCW, ILO, IMDG. Just check in for maritime idioms, maritime abbreviation, and know what they do. MAPO, yeah, know the annexes in MAPO and why do we have all those conventions. Yeah, if you know the meaning of most of them, you should know what they are. Just that for MAPO, it has different annexes, so you should be familiar with the different annexes and what they stand for. Okay, so I've talked about firefighting on board. Then you should about generators. You can be asked about paralleling generators. Why do you do synchronization on board? The different methods of synchronization. We have the auto, we have the manual, we have the lights. mode of synchronization. So another question: why do generators need to share load? That's still under synchronization. Then we go to batteries. There are different battery configurations on board. We have the series connection, we have the parallel connection. Either the series or the parallel connection has a relationship with voltage and current. So, and each of them is as per demand and what is the specific need of the vessel. So you should know the different battery connections on board, the series connection, parallel connection, how it affects voltages and current, and you should be familiar with that. And also, if possible, know how to draw the line connection in case you are being asked to draw a line diagram. Yeah, some interview I'll give you a pen and a paper to do that. I talked about valves, types of valve, differences between them. Water treatment plant. There we have the water treatment plant. Learn about reverse osmosis and although water treatment plant question does not really come up more often, but it's still something you should think about. We have the reverse osmosis. We have modern ways that they call them water maker. They will ask what's the operating principle, or what are the ways that water could be produced on board, or what machinery or what auxiliaries can be used to produce water on board. We have the freshwater generator. So you need to just study about this and just get a wrap of the knowledge. Safety equipment on board. You can be asked that we talk about main engine and auxiliary engines. Good. But you can be asked what are the safety features we have on main engine, what are the safety features on auxiliary engine. Let me give you just a tip. Some safety features are the all miss detectors, the alarms, high level alarm, low level alarm, low temperature, low pressure. They are all safety features to an engine. That can safety features more like something that can make you know that there's a problem and eventually attend to that problem. So you check about the safety features in both main and auxiliary engines. Then there is also the air bottle. You should know what an air bottle is used for. You should know the safety device. Air bottles also have safety device, yeah. So you should know the safety device that is found on an air bottle. Some examiner or interview will ask you, why do you need to drain your air bottle regularly? There are a whole lot of reasons why you should do that. So why do you need to drain your air bottle regularly? Yeah, answer the question. So you should learn about that. But if you're looking at air compressors, it will definitely be directed to air bottles. And if you read about them, you definitely see safety valve. You see means care or maintenance that can be done in an air bottle. So you should definitely check that out. That's a good one. Okay, so as I said earlier, this question is more based on interaction with people, their opinion, what they ask them. So it's not like I got it from books. It's what they ask people that I'm coming to tell you people, and also what they asked me when I was also looking for a job, because me too, I'm an employee. So that's what I'm coming to tell you. Be like, okay, this is what they asked all of us. So you say follow and use it and learn. Okay, so let's get serious again. We're going to talk about the wiper part, but please, I keep repeating this so it sinks. Questions for engine cadets, wipers, and oiler most times are always interrelated. So it is safer if you try to study them all if you have the time. But if you got a short notice, you can just study one. But it is safer if you can study all of them. So I'll just read out the ones for the wiper. Now, as I said earlier, every role that you are applying for, you will be asked, what is the role of this person for this job? So they'll ask you what's the role of a wiper. Eventually, maybe they'll ask you about, tell me about yourself and all of those things. Then they'll ask you about safety. I've mentioned that before. I'll still say it again. They'll ask you about safety. PPEs you need. As a wiper, you need PPE also because you'll be handling chemicals. You'll be doing a lot of cleaning in the engine room. So you'll be handling chemicals. Some of these chemicals are hazardous and some of them are not hazardous. So they want to know if you are somebody that will put the company at risk or become a liability to them. So what are the PPE that you need before you carry out your job? Okay. They want to know if you have an idea of the space you are coming to work. So they can just randomly ask you, okay, what machineries can be found in the engine room? Because if you are coming to clean these machineries, you should know what you're coming to clean. So yeah, what machineries can be found in the engine room? And also, can you operate any of them? Because most times, wipers don't only clean. Yeah, most wipers do maintenance job too. You know, these things are phases and stages. You become so diligent, you become so good that you are given new tasks. So being diligent and hardworking can actually open doors. Because they say you're a wiper does not mean that you are cleaning all the days of your life. You can also join maintenance jobs. So they want to know that they want to know if you have prior knowledge to these things, if you have an IQ that can accommodate the work and all of that. So, I said initially the main purpose, primary function is to clean, which is not always true, actually. Though another question is different cleaning agents used on board, and also they'll ask you if you know the risks attached to these cleaning agents, how to use these cleaning agents, which one to use on each machinery if you know. But definitely they will ask you different cleaning agents you have on board. I said definitely because I've gotten this particular answer from a lot of people where they go for wiper job and they ask them about cleaning agent that they can use on board. Okay. Waste management and pollution prevention according to MAPO annexes, or MAPOL in general, international regulation for prevention of marine pollution. So since you'll be cleaning, that means you'll be dealing with a lot of waste. How will you be disposing this waste? That's what that question stands for. Waste management and how can you prevent pollution. So for you to know how to manage this waste and know which one to put into the sea and which one to be burnt in the incinerator, or which one should go to the slush tank, or which one should go to the dustbin, you will definitely need a good knowledge of the MAPO regulation. So you see why I said that most of these things are intertwined. Okay, then another thing, different maritime regulation and annexes. What I just said, you need to know maritime regulation and annexes to do your job. Basic emergency response, fire aids and drills. You will definitely answer because before you go on board for any role, be it the least role on board, you must do STCW. And during STCW, the standard of training and certification for watchkeeping. So you must do firefighting, you must do medical first aid that has to do with drills for resuscitation of patients. Then you must do basic emergency response. So they're just trying to know that if what they taught you during STCW, if you learned it and if it's still with you. Then also, some company can be very funny. They can give you broom and mop to sweep, telling you that they want to know if you know what you're doing. Okay, so let's continue. Another question: what are the duties of a wiper in the engine? I mentioned that already. Sorry, you may see repetition of questions. It's a collation. What precaution do you take when cleaning near hot machinery? Safety part, I've mentioned that already. Name 5 hand tools and their uses. You can be called on to help out with maintenance, so be prepared. What is marine air and what is it used for? More like the service air, starting air, and all of those things. We have instruments air also. What is the correct procedure for cleaning the bilge? What's the difference between service air and emergency air? We also have starting air. Emergency air is more like if your main air supply isn't working, you should have an emergency air bottle. You should have an emergency air compressor that can give you all those air, all those type of things. Sorry, this is not, I'm not giving answers, just a question. Let's get reviews on how this is and we know if I'm supposed to give answers. Meanwhile, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, click on the notification bell so that you'll be abreast of every post Sailor Space does, and tell a friend to keep telling a friend. Yeah. Okay, another one. What are the types of pipes used on board and their function? We mentioned that in when we talk about cadets questions. We have color bands on pipes. They are very important too. Then we have what is good housekeeping in the engine room and why is it important? One of the importance is that poor housekeeping can actually lead to fire. Everybody will burn down, ship will sink, everybody will die. That's a very grave one. So poor housekeeping, that's just one of them. How do you assist during a bunkering operation or watch keeping? Yeah, wipers also keep watch. But the fact that you're a wiper doesn't mean that you won't keep watch. So what is your own responsibility during that watch keeping? The engine, everybody has responsibility. Then we now have watch keeping. Then we now have your responsibility during watch keeping. So what's your own responsibility as a wiper during watch keeping? Okay, so right about now we'll move to the oiler part and we get to see what we can get from them. Okay, so thank you for sticking around. If you're still here with me, I'm so happy to host you. I'm so happy to share this knowledge with you. But I need a favor. You need to subscribe to this channel to make this channel reach a wide range of people, to make this channel be seen and visible to other people so others can benefit from what you're benefiting. So let's go to the oiler question. Just as I said before, your personal introduction, the role that you're coming to apply for, you need to know what you're coming to do. Most times the company you are coming to apply for, you need to know what they are doing too. So first question, how does a build system work? What checks must be done during operation, like before you want to do your bilge pumping and all of that? What will you check? What valves will you open? Yeah, all those type of things. Don't push me to start saying answers to this question. Let's just proceed. Describe how you operate and maintain a fuel oil transfer pump. What is the purpose of an oily water separator? You may not necessarily have to run an oily water separator because that's exclusively for the chief engineer. But you should know the purpose because it has some connection with bilge system, the bilge holding tank, and all those return processes and all that. So when you are pumping your bilge, you need to know where you are pumping it through. You can't just pump oily water into the CRB. It has to pass through your oily water separator. Or better to get a retention tank, then give out your bilge to a receptacle when you come to port. So you need to know that. Okay, what are the common types of smoke seen from funnels and what do they indicate? Yeah, I've mentioned that already. How would you respond to low loop oil pressure in the generator? How do you support the maintenance of air compressors and valves? What is the sequence for starting and stopping an air compressor? Explain the role of the emergency generator. What do you do during engine room rounds? That's part of watch keeping. Why do we monitor the exhaust color of engine? What does the white smoke indicate? Not necessarily only white smoke. We have black smoke, we have blue smoke, we have gray color smoke. All of them stand for something. You should know them. Yeah, I mentioned that. You must know them. Yes. We are really coming to a close very soon. But remember to subscribe, share, like, and turn on the notification button for this video. So I got random questions that I thought they are useful, but I did not know where to classify them because they were all sharing like they relate for the three of them. And please also, I mentioned earlier, in case you hear repetition, these are collation that I made. It's actually, I have a lot of work I'm doing. I do these videos in my spare time, just more like my own contribution to the maritime space. So please, if you get repetition, just please skip and pass and listen to the next one. It's time constraint that's making me not to actually sit down and read all of them one by one and remove the one that I've said before. Thank you for your understanding. So right about now, let's just explore the remaining question that I just feel they can ask you. Be you wiper, cadet, or oiler, you may be asked. So let's hear them. What are the IMO and NIMASA role in maritime safety? I mentioned NIMASA because we are in Nigeria and NIMASA is more like the flag state of most vessels and they are our administration as seafarers. And IMO is more like the governing body for everything maritime. So you should know. Okay. What are maritime regulation you are expected to follow on board? What is the function of the firefighting system and how do you operate fire extinguishers? I've mentioned this already. Name some emergency alarm you must recognize in the engine room. And to put, you must also know the importance of a muster list. And they may ask you, what are the information you get in a muster list? If you have an alarm, what should you do first? Run to your muster station or go to your cabin. So you should know that. And if you paid attention during your STCW, then you definitely know that answer. Okay, so I said name some emergency alarm you must recognize in the engine room. Yeah. What are your actions during an engine room fire? If you are if you followed your muster list, everybody's duty is in the muster list. But just for the purpose of interview, you should have something that you've been taught. Oh, this set of people are supposed to do this. This set of people are supposed to do that. Yeah, that's what they mean there. And what are the color codes of smoke and what do they signify? This one is just grammar. If it is white smoke, what do it mean? If it is blue smoke, what does it stand for? Yeah, that's it. Okay, how does the sewage treatment plant on board work? List the safety equipment found on board a ship and state their uses. What is the function of a fire extinguisher and what are different types used on board? Especially in the engine room. You know how fire extinguisher that can be used in the engine room. Example, water. The engine room has a lot of electrical appliances and installation in them. So please, that question is actually very important. And there's some space you use CO2 and there's some space you use dry powder. And there's some space you can actually use the two of them. Because an engine room is more like a world of its own with different spaces for different equipment. So that question is actually very important. Explain the purpose and using of SCBA, SCABA, self-contained breathing apparatus. What is the purpose of immersion suits and where are they stored? What is the color coding for pipes on board? Fuel, oil, seawater, air, etc. And why is it important that pipe has color codes? Describe typical piping layout in an engine room. What are the safety precautions to follow when working with pipelines? What are air bottles on board used for? And what pressure are they typically charged to? Very important. So avoid overpressure and boom, explosion. How do you inspect and maintain air bottles? Yeah, I mentioned that. What are the safety valves associated with compressed air system and how do they function? Okay, so something that I was supposed to say at the beginning that I know most company asks, although it may not be peculiar to those three rules. Where do you see yourself in the next 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, or what are your long-term goals? So you should be able to put that together. Then something else that is peculiar to the three of them. How do you manage inventory on board? Because spares will be supplied, example, oil, spare parts, and all of that. How will you manage it? Also, bunkering operations, very critical operation on board. Precautions during bunkering, precaution before bunkering, precaution after bunkering, they are very important because it can lead to spillage, fire, and every sort of bad things that you can ever think of. So it is actually very important and it's actually a very big deal, yeah. So bunker is there. Then also you can be asked for engine parameters. What are the engine parameters we have on main engine and auxiliary engines? Then they can go as far as telling you to give them a specific value. For example, you say engine parameters are exhaust temperature, loop oil pressure, cooling water temperature. Okay, now we know what are the values for this. So you can be asked that also. Some can even ask you what was your if you've told them you had experience on the job before, they'll be like, okay, what was your last ship? What were the engines on your last ship? What were you doing on your last ship? Stuff like just to get to know if you have a whole of what you're trying to tell them. Next one situation is how do you manage stress? How do you deal with long hours at work? How do you manage with rest hour? Are you a good team player? How do you manage your time management? They just want to get a whole of if you have soft skills. I had made a video regarding soft skill. Time management is actually a soft skill. If not, your schedule is going to be jeopardized and you will not get jobs done, and that's not good for business. Then to crown it up, the icing on the cake, you will be asked, why are you a good fit for this job? Or why should we hand over this role to you? Or better still, why should we give you this employment and not consider every other person that has applied? Because definitely you will not be the only person that has applied. We will have tons and lots of people that have applied and may have even been called for interview too. So what will make us call you and take you and employ you and trust our machineries in your care? That is where you bring your air game into. You must convince them. You must show your expertise and your skills, sound convincing, be convincing, show them that you know what you're doing and get the job. So if you are still here with me, you will agree with me that this content, that this video is very useful to you. And I hope with this viewpoint of mine that I have been able to convince you and not to confuse you that you should subscribe to Sailor Space, the engineers and navigators help. And as I said earlier, we have an handle that you can just quickly click and it will bring the channel very fast for you, so you don't have to write all those sentences that I've mentioned. At sailor space 01, at sailor space 01. So immediately you type at sailor space on your Chrome, Firefox, Bing, whatever browser you're using, or even on YouTube, it's going to pop up. And all you need to do is go to any video you like and like them, watch them, share from this good news, from this great information. Then when you're done liking, share to that friend, share to that family, share to that mentee, share to that person that needs this information to grow and to prepare for that interview. When you're done with that, click on the notification button, so every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know. That's raw privilege. That's your top priority, you know. Then finally, you should subscribe to this channel. Subscription gives us visibility, and subscription encourages me to know that what I'm doing is being appreciated. So please share, subscribe, like, click on the notification button, and tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, tell a family to tell a family to tell a family. Let's spread this news so that everybody can be a beneficiary of this great information. And I hope you take that job interview. I hope you get that job, and I hope you come back to tell me, oh, this video was very useful to me for my job interview. I'm waiting to see that in the comment section, yeah? But until next time, I remain your host, Dr. Suwem Jonah, and there's a fun fact for you that stayed up to now. It is always a great pleasure. I am always elated, so overjoyed to host you. So until next time, stay safe and cheers.